Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, have you started shifting how you're eating now that you're in your 40s? So you don't have to be straight up in menopause or even in perimenopause to start shifting your eating. Because the sooner you start shifting your eating, the better your results are going to be, and the less likely you are to get any of those stereotypical comedian kind of issues, right? Like brain fog, low libido, no sleep, crazy moods, right? So today I wanted to talk to you about 3 ways you can start shifting your eating in your 40s to help prevent any of those stereotypical menopausal symptoms. All right, so first thing, I talk about this all the time. Start eating your protein, ladies. 125 grams a day is the minimum. Why? Because as you start getting into your 40s, you start not being able to utilize the protein as much. So you need to get more protein in to be able to get the same amount of protein to actually be working for you, right? So it's in the amino acids. We don't uptake the leucine quite as quickly. So we want to make sure we're getting plenty of protein. Second reason for that is that we need to maintain our muscle mass. As we get older, and every decade we get older, the quicker we lose our muscle mass. So if you're already not getting enough protein, so your body has to cannibalize on the muscle to use the protein, you're going to lose it even faster. Second thing you can do to shift your eating in your 40s to waylay this stereotypical menopause symptoms is transition to more fibery green vegetables. I'm not saying not to have your squashes and your onions and your carrots, but I am saying make sure you're getting your greens even more. You want to keep your fiber up to keep moving the waste products through. As your hormones go crazy and more estrogen gets dumped into your system, you need to move that through. The longer you are not pooping, then the longer your body has to reabsorb that estrogen and use it again. Excess estrogen is the cause of so many of the symptoms. We don't need our body to use the stuff we're trying to get rid of. Keep your green vegetables up. And then third, minimize your sugars and your starches. I didn't say you had to give them up, but let's try starting with our protein and our fiber green vegetables and then add, right? So what this might look like is, especially now that we're home, right? It's very easy to walk by and grab a handful of pretzels. It's very easy to open the refrigerator and, I'll just have a few crackers. Well, you didn't start with protein, so you're likely to not get enough protein, and you didn't get your vegetables in, right? They fill you up and make it so you're not hungry, but they're taking the place of the important things, right? So I would highly suggest that anytime you stick something in your mouth, it starts with a protein, right? Whether that's a hard-boiled egg, a protein shake, or you're starting your meal, start with eating your protein first. That is by far one of the biggest macronutrients you need to make sure you're getting. All right, start every single meal with protein. So even if I've got a big salad or a big plate of food or whatever, I always take my first couple of bites as protein. Why? Well, because it's going to blunt any sugar spike you get, especially from those starchy carbs. It's going to fill you up faster, and it's going to make sure you get your protein. So what might this look like on a daily basis? For breakfast, it might look like a protein shake or maybe a scramble, like those little egg muffin things, or an omelet. Get your veggies in there, get your protein in there, right? For lunch, it might look like a big old salad with a hunk of protein on it. Or maybe it looks like a soup, a brothy soup with a lot of meat, right? So not just veggies, but try and get some meat in there too. Then you need a snack that's protein and veggies. So maybe that's veggies and hummus, veggies and peanut butter. Maybe it's a couple of chicken strips, a couple of fish strips. Yum, that sounds good. And then for supper, you want your plate to be half a plate of green vegetables, about a third of a plate of protein, so 5 or 6 ounces, and then a little bit of starch, like maybe that looks like half a potato or half a sweet potato or half a squash, not half a squash, maybe half a cup of squash, right? So some kind of color on that plate. You want that starch before you go to bed so that it will help you stay asleep longer, okay? Now, I'm not talking about a Texas Roadhouse size baked potato. I'm talking about half of a regular potato here. I'm not talking about a ton of starch. I'm talking about just enough to keep you sleeping. So for more information and a bigger discussion on this, be sure you are part of the Menopause Project Facebook group. We talk about these things, and all this week, we are going to talk about the 4 different women you are throughout who are tuning in this week for Frisky Fiona, Shiraz Sherry, Laid Back Leona, and Yoga Yvonne. I can't wait to talk to you about it.